Address has to be given by Dr. B.R. Sindil Kumar, HOD Aeronautical Engineering, NIAT. He will now give the welcome address.
Sir, very good afternoon to one and all join this webinar. On this day, with the blessings of our former chairman, late Shri P.K. Das sir, we are very happy to conduct various programs for the benefit of the students of aeronautical engineering. So I am happy to welcome our chairman and managing trustee, Advocate P. Krishnadas sir in absentia. I am very happy to welcome our beloved CEO and Secretary, Dr. P. Krishna Kumar sir in absentia. I am happy to welcome our principal, who is the driving force for all our programs happening, Dr. P. Manirsan sir in absentia. And I am most happy to welcome the chief guest of the day, Mr. Babin Vivek, aviation consultant. Sir, welcome you, sir, for aeronautical engineering and NIAT.
Thank you, sir.
I am most happy to welcome our beloved director, Professor Dr. A. Sankaran sir. Sir, welcome you, sir. I am happy to welcome the coordinator of this program, Professor Dr. S. Selva Kumar. Sir, welcome, sir. And I am happy to welcome all our professors, Director MBA, Dr. P.T. Vijayaraj Kumar, all HODs of NIAT and our sister concern, and most importantly, our dear students who have to learn the very important topic today about the softwares and the recent hardwares and updation about that. So I request all my students to please note down, and in future we'll have a better contact with the guest, and I'm sure that we'll get the benefit. Thank you all. Once again, welcome you also. Over to Dr. SS.
Yes. Now we'll have the presidential address by Director sir.
Namaste, namaskar to one and all. Already I spent 2-3 minutes with my good, rather pilot of the day who's on board commanding us, Shri Babin Vivek Ji. Namaskar. Namaskaram. I'm very happy Professor SS got you on board. The message is very strong, as my Professor BI HOD has just put it, a guideline only. But request all my students on board very cautiously listen. That's all. If you listen properly, right, you can erase whatever the mistake you are going to commit the days to come during when you are in the campus. There are two ways of erasing. One is intentionally or happily. If you have the attitude of erasing all your mistakes or your laziness, you will be very light and you will be able to fly high when you leave the campus. With this nutshell, a warm welcome to once again to the pilot in command, Shri Babin Vivek Ji. A big salute to my Professor SS, Dr. Selva Kumar. At the same time, students are on board. Be cautious. Don't be behind the screen. Take a notebook, note down, interact with him. That helps a lot. I wish 100% it will be fruitful. If you take out everything and keep it with you as a record, by the time you leave the campus, you will understand what is the meaning behind learning the latest software. These few words, I thank the management of the organizers for this wonderful opportunity on board. All the best. Back to Professor Bia. Sorry, Professor SS.
Yes. Janani Durga will continue. Janani Durga.
Again, she is off, not on board, sir. Sir, no matter, sir. I request Professor SS to few about today's Professor, Shri Babin Vivek, and then let him take off, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. See, Babin Vivek has completed his BE Aeronautical Engineering in Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology with a gold medal, and he has entered into the foreign universities, and during his course also he has done many papers also he has submitted, and he has visited NASA also, and regarding this his project, and actually we need to welcome him, and he will continue now. Where the we'll hand over the mic to Bobin,
Yes.
Mr.
Over
Bobin.
to Babin Vivek. Please
Thank
proceed.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And thank you. So, very good afternoon to all my students, and special thanks to entire NIET team for inviting me. It's so glad. Students, if you're unmute, can you mute yourself? Yes. Thanks a lot. Okay. So, in today's session, I'm going to discuss about what are the different softwares that is available in our aviation industry. And please confirm once you can see my screen.
Yes, proceed.
Yes.
Paka.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, so before we start with our session, so how to be successful in aviation using software? First of all, we all are aeronautical students. Okay, so we choose this domain so that we need to excel. I know it is very challenging and very interesting domain to succeed, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It is possible if you have a very good knowledge in the subject. One, with that you can crack and you have a better chance to enter any of the core company. Okay, so be with me, don't get distracted, and if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat or ask me directly at the end of the session. I will help you with that. Okay, so thank you again to Selva Kumar sir for inviting me, and all the dignitaries for accepting the invite. So I am basically from aeronautical background. So I completed my bachelor's in aeronautical from Hindustan Coimbatore, and with a gold medal. And during third year, my paper got shortlisted in American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. It's a very popular publication journal. So I was sponsored by Hindustan College to San Francisco, US. So I went there and published two journals. If you just Google my name, you can find all my articles. Okay, so later then I completed with university rank. So with that, I got a scholarship to do my master's in aerospace engineering in Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, and Technical University of Munich, Germany. So once that, I was placed in Singapore Technologies Aerospace Limited as a design engineer. So that is, I did my intern thesis and did my research work with the Singapore government. That is Singapore Technologies Aerospace Limited. Later then, for the past 5 years, I'm working as an aviation consultant. It's all about me. Okay. So what's the topic today? So before going into the topic, please from now on take notes if you want. Be very cautious. It is not going to be boring lecture. I'm not here to teach you something, but I'm going to guide you for your career. So there are professors for you to teach the subjects, but I'm here to guide you how to enter into a different organization once you graduated. Okay, so what are the roles, what are the skill set needed in order to enter into a core domain? Okay, so there are certain softwares. So softwares in the sense, before that, why is software needed? For example, not only aviation, you can take any industry like oil and gas, or uh, core mechanical industries, or any organization. Design is the starting factor. The first step starts with requirement gathering. So first thing is, you have to know what is needed. So based on the requirement, based on the need, a design team will be replicating in the system. So our imagination will be converted into a drawing. That's why we call it as a design. Okay, so everyone would have studied a subject, aircraft design, or structures, materials. So these are the subjects which is primarily needed in order to master yourself as a design engineer. Okay, so if I mean aerospace design or aircraft design, it means that I am meaning CAD. What is CAD? computational aided design and drafting. If it is double D, it is design and drafting. Okay, so the main reason for CAD is the innovative and airplane designs. Okay, so I have highlighted lots of points here. You just as of now concentrate on the highlighted words. Moving forward, post the session, I will circulate this PPT to the professor and he will circulate it to you. You can go through and get it prepared. Okay, so main thing is you have to be, if you want, if you're interested is towards design, then you have to be well versed with the CAD software. There are myriads of CAD software. You have to be strong at least one CAD software, that is well and good. So in both two-dimensional and as well as three-dimensional, the main purpose of these CAD software is to determine flaws, and it has benefits of airplane as well. Okay, so moving ahead, see, I have prepared the topmost designing software which is available in our industry, aerospace industry. For example, the Autodesk. So Autodesk is nothing but they are the owning agency of AutoCAD. So if you're doing any certification, I will strongly suggest do with the parent company. Instead of, there are myriads of other organizations, small organization. Instead of doing that, have a certification. If you're really interested, have a certification with the Autodesk or Dassault system, the owning software company. It will help you, and that those certifications are very much valid if you enter into an organization for the interview. Okay, so there are different softwares like CATIA, Creo, PLM software. Even it doesn't mean that in the entire world all the organizations should use only one software. For example, I worked in Singapore Technologies Aerospace Limited as a design engineer. So in the entire Singapore, that aerospace organization, they use only CATIA V5 for the design. In NASA, if you see the last point, they will use Open VSP Vehicle Sketchpad. So this is a separate unique software designed by their team only for NASA purpose. Okay, so it differs. Might Airbus Bangalore might use different. For example, they might use SolidWorks or AutoCAD. It varies. But what I'm asking you is, if you concentrate any one particular design software, the logic is going to be the same. The tools are going to be the same. The variation differs, whereas the concept of designing still remains the same in all the software. Are you with me? Okay, so this is what I meant about aerospace design. And on while you are going through this, I have mentioned this is the link actually. Okay, so after receiving this, I request everyone to go through and just click this link and see the respective page, what it means. Only if we go through like all the software details in detail, then only you can figure out to choose what. You cannot say it is not necessary to do to practice all the software. One software with full understanding, it's fine. Okay, so moving ahead, so designing is done. So what is the first step? I know my requirement. So I know my requirement. Based on my requirement, I have completed my design. So there is a design team involved. So that requirement, whatever what my idea is, I just converted into a design. So in aircraft, in our aircraft as domain, we have like different critical parameters. So anyway, that means we have 10,000 plus parts in our aircraft, like aileron, elevator, rudder, ribs, bulkheads. So there are lots of parts. So for every part, once design is completed, a stress analysis is needed. What is stress analysis? So stress analysis is nothing but you have to do what is the heat transfer, how much it fluctuate for this particular load. So every minute analysis on the particular component, inch by inch. If I mention inch by inch, it is very minute because you are going to mesh it up and you are going to do the structural analysis for all those parts. Okay, so that's why I mean it as structural analysis. So in industry, we call it as a stress engineer or analysis engineer or fatigue engineer. For example, in Rolls Royce, they will call stress, if we are FEM, finite element analysis, if he is strong in that subject, they will create a position called stress engineer. In ST Aerospace, they will call it as a FEDIC engineer. So it varies. Okay, so every inch by inch, this due with the analysis software, we have to do the analysis. So it is very important, and this happens only post design. After design, the stage comes, the software which comes into the picture is stress, and that is finite element analysis. Hope you would have had a subject called finite element analysis and computational fluid dynamics. If you're strong with that subject, it is good for you to become a stress engineer. Okay, so there are various softwares like hypermesh, ansys. In order to do a structural analysis, we have matlab and maston. Okay, so again, if you want to go in this domain, you have to be strong at least any one of the software. Okay, so this is all about structural analysis. Okay, so moving forward, and what is the main reason of this is to optimize meaning, so for example, if engine is concerned, so we have to do thousands of testing in that. It cannot be done in a single day, it take years. For example, Rolls Royce, Pratt and Whitney, General Electric, all the engine manufacturing companies, they do optimization multiple times and find out for which for how much temperature it can withstand, for how what material can be used. So all those can be analyzed using this finite element method. Okay, so we have a meshing technology, and main important point is, even before manufacturing, we have a virtual reality. What is the meaning of it? By virtually, we can realize, okay, this is how it is going to be after manufacturing. Virtually, we have a chance using this software to figure it out, is it going to be successful or it's going to be failure. So if it is failure, where the failure occurs, at which point there is a failure, so that needs to be analyzed, that needs to be redesigned, that needs to be reanalyzed. Okay, and for you guys in today's generation, additive manufacturing is very much going popular. It means that it is nothing but a 3D printing. So if you're very much interested in manufacturing module, I strongly suggest you to have a look of additive manufacturing. Do your research. There are lots of articles available in the Google, and if you have a look of that, that is hit in today's market. So all the industries are going with 3D modeling, 3D manufacturing, that is additive manufacturing. What it means, in 3D view, we can a machine, a device like a CNC machine, it will create the model in front of you in 3D view, so that you can do all kind of testing in that. It's a real-time discovery. Okay, and last point is, you can simulate everything with multi-physics. So there is lots of physics applicable, right? So all those testing can be applied on those analysis software. Okay, and if you're, so first what we have designed, we have discussed on the designing software. So what are the designing software available? We have CATIA, Creo, AutoCAD, and SolidWorks, etc. So out of which, if you ask me my opinion, with my experience, I would say CATIA V5 is good, because most of the organization, they use CATIA V5. Moving ahead, analysis software. If you want to be very strong in 2021, most of the companies, they use CFD and even Nastron and Patron for analysis. So that is very good. So it's not necessary that you have to be strong in all the softwares. If you have that mind, please erase it off. It's not possible, and it will be confusing as well. It is good to have a strong and basic knowledge with one software in each module. So programming. So where programming involves, so you might think programming is not comes under my department, it falls under IT or CSE, then it is wrong. So aeronautical, in the sense, it's a combination, it's a cluster of all the departments. Okay, it's not only purely aeronautical graduates, it's not going to work one, they are not the only one who's going to work in the aerospace companies. It all the different domain people will be given chance to work in the aerospace industry. That I will explain little later, that will be very helpful for you. So there are few other programming softwares like C, C++, Python. If you have a subject like avionics, then you would have learned all these. You would, in the first year, you would have studied C, C++. So these are the basic softwares that is available in our aviation industry, in order mainly for the avionics. For example, if you see, there will be a cockpit section with lots of minute instruments, right? So all those needs to be programmed. If you see, autopilot system, that is done using this coding software. If you see, among all this is the spectrum rating. C is in the highest rating, and Python is growing very rapidly. So programming language Python is fast moving in all the abroad countries because a lot of versions has been updated. So if you're interested especially on the programming, then I will strongly suggest you with choose either Python and C. Okay. um Professor, just I want to answer the questions. Are they free to ask the
Yeah,
questions?
please, this is the better. The step by step what you are going. I'm very happy you are systematically going from structures, aerodynamics, even up to avionics. So it's the right time for the students to question you and clarify with the doubts in the
Okay.
first step itself. I admit, yes, I request all the students, please ask your doubts, please. Then it will be easy. It will be a very good interaction section. Means knowledge will pour in. Proceed. What is Durga? Janani Durga? Is he on board? Or Anupam Nair? Please question. Don't be a mute spectators, please.
Students, please feel free. Like, I'm just a senior, so like, don't, feel free. Even if it is a silly question, it's fine. If you want to post it in the chat, it's fine. Or else I will continue, and at the end of last 20 minutes, you can ask all the questions. Even no issues. Any questions now? Please unmute yourself and ask your questions if there are.
Very sad.
No
Very
Nothing,
issues.
sad.
sir. Okay. They may be planning, sir, to ask questions. We hope they'll ask questions. Before that, sir, mechanical engineering students, CFD, and aeronautical engineering students, CFD, how do we basically differentiate, or is both the same, sir?
So basically, it's both the same, sir. So yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, even the students have that question. See, students, listen. Okay, so we are we are doing our bachelor's in aeronautical engineering, right? It doesn't mean that we are supposed to work only in Airbus, only in Boeing, only in ISRO, Rolls Royce, General Electric, Rockwell Collins, IAMPL. Doesn't mean that you are supposed to work only in these companies. Okay, for example, if you choose any of the software, like as a professor mentioned, if you're choosing CFD, okay, CFD analysis you can do for aeroplane, you can do for any CNC machines, you can do it for car as well. So there is no separate CFD tool only for aeroplane. Okay, so that's why I'm saying if you choose any of the software and master yourself, you can get a job not only in a core aerospace industry but also in different organization. For example, Maruti, for example, different car companies, RD, different car companies also you can enter. You can enter into oil and gas well, because all the industries they use only the same software for their design, for their analysis, for their coding. So if you master with any one of the softwares in each modules, you can get into not only aeronautical industry but any industry. Okay, for as professor's question, it is same. So might be because the airplane design they will do different steps of analysis, whereas for a
Yes.
car they will use different steps of analysis, but the
Yes.
the path, the flow chart will all remain same.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so students, even so far, if you're not attentive, please be attentive for next 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so this is what I really want to address it, because I used to take lectures to different students from other colleges, even Hindustan last week. So everyone is having a different perception in aeronautical engineering. Okay, so we are all studying aeronautical engineering. Okay, so there is no job called aeronautical engineer. Have that in mind. Okay, if you go any organization, you can't find a role called aeronautical engineer. It is split into different. So there are 100 plus of different roles or different designations available in aeronautical engineering. I have listed the main top 10 or top few in under. I have prepared this for you. There are few. If you do a lots of research, you can find more. For example, design engineer. So in the if you see the career path of any company like Airbus, Rolls Royce, whatever it may be, they will, in their career portal, they will post for a design engineer and not for aeronautical engineer. So design engineer, what are the skills required? We need to know about the CAD or CATIA, Kriya, or any kind of software. Okay, so for that, what are the subjects is needed? In your bachelor's, you would have studied engineering graphics, design engineering. If you're strong, if you're really strong in these subjects, then you can choose a career on the design field. Okay, so remember, as a graduate, it is mandatory to undergo all the subjects until 8th semester. You need to do all the subjects and you have to clear with good marks. There's no doubt in that. Post bachelor's, you have to choose, you have to narrow down your domain. If you're taking masters, under masters, what is your major subject? If you're choosing your career, under which role, what is my major, for which company I have to apply for which designation I have to apply for, all these, this is the time you have to think and take a decision. Okay, for example, that is a design engineer. For a stress engineer, sorry, there's a spelling mistake, a stress engineer, stress, stress engineers, you have to be very strong with finite element analysis. There will be a subject, a paper available in the 3rd semester or 5th semester, I'm not sure, but if you're very strong in that, you will have a chance to become a fatigue engineer or stress engineer or analysis engineer. The naming difference, but there will be opening across not only aviation industry but also other industries. Okay, so for other openings, structural engineers or material engineers, if you're very good with aircraft structures 1 and aircraft 2 papers, then you are good enough to choose this subject as your career path. For this, what you have to know, you have to be strong in the materials, composite materials, what Selvakumar professor is teaching, right? So the fiber optic materials or different combination of the materials in order to strengthen the aircraft. So there are separate R&D department available for structurals and materials. So if you want to choose that career, that is also possible. Okay, so NDT engineer, what NDT stands for? Non-destructive testing. So there will be a lab which you might have, that is NDT lab. So ultrasonics, dye penetrant. So even a softwares is applicable here. NDT softwares are there in the market. If you want to strong, if you want to become a strong engineer in NDT, it's well and good. So I am a certified level 1 from Singapore in NDT. So there are certain levels, level 2, level 3. If you are in level 3, you will be in the signing authority for all the aircraft, because any aircraft which lands in the airport needs to undergo certain checks. So out of all those checks, NDT is also a mandatory check. What NDT does, it will figure it out any crack or any holes, any foreign particles available in any of the major components in the aircraft, because it is going to create a problem while the aircraft is in air. So we have to be very cautious, and NDT testing needs to be carried out against every component once the aircraft is landed before it takes off. So if for that, you have to be very strong with the NDT subject. Manufacturing engineer, I told you, right? Additive technology. If you're very strong that I want to manufacture a component on my own hand, then there is a separate paper which is common for a mechanical as well. So manufacturing technology or manufacturing engineer, if you're strong in that particular subject, you can go ahead and apply for the manufacturing engineer role. Okay, so this you won't find it in your paper, in your subjects. So this all happen, I gained from experience. Okay, I also thought during bachelor's, okay, I'm going to become an aeronautical engineer post my graduation. No, that doesn't work like that. So there are hundreds of different roles under the aeronautical engineer. Yeah, of course we are aeronautical engineering graduate, but our designation, under which field we are going to work, it matters. Okay, so if you're very strong with engine, for example propulsion, heat transfer, if you're strong with these subjects, if you're having very keen interest with these subjects, you will have a bright future in entering into a Rolls Royce, Pratt and Whitney or General Electric or any kind of engine manufacturing company of the aerospace industry. Okay, so quality engineer, there is a separate module, we have total quality management. See, that is the reason why we have multiple papers, multiple subjects in our bachelor's in aeronautic. There is for a reason, because everyone won't have interest in design, everyone won't have interest in analysis software. It varies candidate to candidate, person to person. If you are interested in TQM, that is total quality management, you have to do a certification and you can become a quality engineer. Again, this is not only for aviation, it can be mechanical, oil and gas, any domain you can you have a bright chance to enter. Maintenance engineer, for example, what does maintenance engineers do? For example, an aircraft which lands into the into a runway, there is a pushback vehicle which pulls the push the aircraft and park it in the respective place. Okay, so once it is done, you can see there will be like 20 people running through the aircraft. What they are going to do, they're going to do the preliminary check, that is A check, C check. So what those checks are, they are going to check all the components, the major components like landing gear, engine leakage, is there any engine leakage available. So they will check all those they will do all those checks across the aeroplane, because every, for example, if a check guy is going to do a landing gear check, he needs to be certified. Okay, and similarly every component we have a certain certification. So if you have those certification, you can go ahead and become a maintenance engineer. So most of the people who's having the AME degree, so there is an AME degree, right? So those degree people will go under the maintenance engineer role. Okay, so technical author in the sense, for example, for your information, so if you think that there is no job market in India, that is false. There is nothing like that. There are 100 plus of openings every day in aviation in India, I challenge you. Because Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Ramco Systems, all the IT companies, they are having a separate department for aviation. So I'm coming from that background as well. Okay, so if you're very good, what they do, they're not going to be in top 8 one, because they are just going to be a technical author, technical publications. So there is a separate module called aircraft rules and regulation, which you will study in the 7th semester, I believe, or 8th semester. If you're very strong with the rules and regulations, if you're very good in publicizing the journals, then you can go and opt for this role. So what is the main reason? You will be preparing all the aircraft manuals, not only for one component, for the entire aircraft, for engine, for landing gear, for ailerons, rudder, elevator, control panels, autopilot system. You will be given chance to become an technical author, because see, every aircraft components, it has its own manual. So once we purchase any product, we have a manual, right? How to utilize. So what is the needed for how long a check needs to be carried out. Everything is it's possible only if you are very strong in the publications, if the rules and regulations, if you are very strong in that, you can go and choose this role. Okay, and last but not least, we have a research associate position, that is research assistant or research associate. For example, I want to do research, I don't want to enter into the thing, I want to do my masters, I want to do a PhD, and I want to pursue my career as a researcher, then it is possible. So for that, you don't need to have any that means research is available for all the domain. For example, if you're major interest in aerodynamics, then you can go ahead and do the stress analysis for every component and figure it out. If you're interested in structure, and you can go and figure it out, what composite material you have to use, or different combination, mix different materials and figure it out which is having more tensile strength or compressive strength, and figure it out, that research. If you're propulsion, then you have to do a research which is having high ratio in engine, either what is the difference between Rolls Royce, Pratt and Whitney, what is the major manufacturing difference. So if you are interested in the engine, then you have to do those kind of research. So then you have to become a research assistant or research associate. Okay, so these are the different jobs or designations available to become an aeronautical engineer. Okay, so coming back to our topic, so the first, design engineer, you have to be master at least any one of the software, any designing tool, that is CAD. For stress engineer or analysis engineer or fatigue engineer, you have to be master with the CFD, no doubt in that. For example, if you want to become a programmer, that is I have not mentioned here, if you want to become an avionics engineer or a programmer, then you have to be strong with any of the coding languages, C++ or Python. If you want to become NDT, then there is a separate software which is having NDT. So software plays a vital role in all your roles. So there is no field without an software. You cannot go and proceed with any of the role. Even if you want to become a quality engineer, there is a software in market available, because post going generation is not going to be paperwork. Everything is going to be digital. Okay, so everything, for example, if you're doing any kind of testing, if you do any kind of check in the aircraft, it's not going to be, as of now it is, they are writing their no, troubleshooting reports in the sheet and they submit to their boss. But post going, they will submit everything in the system or phone or iPad, and then it will directly reach the boss, and there will be a different reviewer who will be reviewing, and it will goes in that process. No more paperwork. So software is going to be plays a vital role in all the modules. So any doubt in this particular slide, because it is going to be important. Once you're graduating, you have to know what you want to be. Forget that you want to become an aeronautical engineer. That doesn't work. There's no role like that. There is a different categories or designations available under the cluster. So aeronautical engineer is a parent, but we have, there are branches with different jobs and designations. Any doubt, guys? Guys, feel free to open your mouth. It's fine. Okay.
Yes, students, please, you can clarify your doubts, if anything. See, I am seeing a very good, excellent teacher also here. He's nicely handling the class section. Please ask your doubts. It will be very useful for you.
Okay, so Janani Durga has raised a question in the chat.
Yes.
If I would like to be a design engineer, is CATIA is enough for that? So obviously, yes, Janani, to answer your question, yes, it is enough to have a, but you have to be have strong knowledge in CATIA. That is two-dimensional as well as three-dimensional. But again, all the aerospace manufacturing companies or the design companies doesn't go with CATIA. Few with, for example, NASA is going different software. Airbus will go with different software. Boeing will go with different software. But the basic is going to be same. If you're strong with that software, yes, you can excel in any other software for that particular industry as well. Okay, so there are 90 or 80% of the companies currently they are using CATIA, because I come from that background. Singapore Aerospace Company works with CATIA V5. So that's the answer for your question. Your second question, top companies expecting academic and which course? Okay, I will come to that. My next slide is that. So post that, you will get an answer. Any other question, guys, friends? Any jobs available? Saravanan question. Any jobs available? Yes, for embedded software engineer, yes, there are available. As I told earlier, aeronautical is not only for graduates from the aeronautical engineering. It is mechanical, avionics guy. Because if you see the EC guys, they will be mastering C++, Python, everything. They will do coding very fast, because for all 4 years they studied that. So they are mostly recovered for this avionics, the autopilot system manufacturing or autopilot system coding. And if you see in the in flight, every in front of all the passengers there will be a small deck, right, just to the entertainment tool, like you can watch films, you can see the maps and everything. Thus it's fully coded by EC guys, that is embedded software. So it is possible. There are lots of jobs available in aeronautical, Saravanan. Yes, it's a good question. Any other question, guys? Okay, Balaji, if I want to be a propulsion engineer, whether I have to learn any software or my subject knowledge and concept alone is enough, sir? For example, in our aeronautic module, we have propulsion 1 and 2, heat transfer, fluid dynamics. You have to be strong in this, okay? But I strongly suggest you to do any of the stress software like CFD, because propulsion because that is a major component for a, that is a core heart for an aircraft, right? So if you have analysis software experience, then you can crack all the interviews and get the job in within a minute. Okay, because see, okay guys, this is for everyone. See, in Tamil Nadu, there are 600 plus of colleges, okay? And see, compare it in the whole India. So if you have only the subject knowledge, there will be heavy competition. But along with your marks, along with the B Aeronautical Engineering certificate, if you have additional certificate like CFD or ANSYS or Nastron or Patron, which will boost your resume, which will boost your profile, and you can put all the others having only the graduation certificate down, so you will be in the top hiring profile for the interviewers to shortlist. Okay, so to answer your question, subject knowledge is good enough. You have to study with basic understanding. Along with that, it is good to have a stress analysis software experience, either one of them. Okay, so Rakesh, how can we enroll softwares in Autodesk company, and what is the procedure to enroll? Good. For example, for example, the Autodesk, there is a branch. See, you have to Google. I'm not sure whether it is in Ichanari or Gandhipuram. There are lots of centers available across Coimbatore or across India for Autodesk. You have to manually find out and go to the center, and you have to enroll yourself for the respective. Autodesk means it's a AutoCAD. You have to enroll with the parent company. Saravanan, currently I'm doing embedded software engineer course. After finishing that course, how to apply for the job? Which company provides the job? Very good question. Okay. For example, it's for everyone. Every organization, they have a career portal. Okay. So against every career portal, they will post all the jobs available on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So it is your responsibility to have a look of those career portal. So if you find something, you have to apply directly. Okay. I will tell you a shortcut, because if fourth year students or third year students are there, it will be useful. I will tell you what is the procedure of networking and how it works. For example, if you find something, if for example I'm just viewing my Rolls Royce portal, okay, so then I found out a job for embedded system. What do you have to do? You have to see what are all my roles and responsibilities. Once you figure it out, if it matches your profile, for example, if it is matches your profile, you have to build your resume accordingly. Okay, if it doesn't work, if you have only one resume and apply for 100 plus of jobs, it won't work. Okay, because all the top companies in the job portal, if their screening will be done by the software, not by the person. For example, in the roles, or for example, there is a position for embedded engineer. Okay, so today they have posted, and end date is by 7 days, by next week. So all over the world, everyone, lakhs of people will apply for the particular role. There is no humans available to figure it out, all the lakhs profile. So what they do, a system will screen the keywords. For example, they will screen the keywords. For example, in the embedded system, if you know MATLAB, system will look for the MATLAB in your resume, and system will figure it out. If the MATLAB word is not available in your profile, system will automatically send you a regret email saying that sorry, this time your profile is not shortlisted, try again. So the first screening process by all the top organization will be done by the system, and that's why I strongly suggest you to have prepare a resume with a good way. So if you're applying for a design engineer, your resume should have some designing words: CAD designing, 2D modeling, 3D modeling. If you don't have that, obviously it will be rejected. You cannot apply all the roles with one resume. You have to take time, prepare a cover letter, prepare a resume accordingly, and attach all the software certification with your resume and post for the role. Okay, so to answer your question, Saravanan, that's how it works. You have to apply through the portal, and once after portal, I will tell you another shortcut which will help all the students. There is a separate profile, that is separate app, LinkedIn. Okay, so it is purely for professional network. It is not like Facebook or Instagram. It is only for professionals. Okay, so for example, in Rolls Royce, I founded a position for embedded system. What next? What needs to be done next? So you have to go to the LinkedIn page. LinkedIn profile needs to be updated clearly with your full details. Okay, go and find the people who are working in Rolls Royce Bangalore, for example. Okay, so just send them a request, invitation. You can send them in a request. For example, you can send 10 plus requests to the HRs or managers. Okay, once they accepted, you can just ping them saying that I saw so and so role in the portal. I'm very much interested. Can you please review my profile and give me a chance for an interview? So this is how networking works. So what you did as a first step, you went into the respective organization website for Airbus or Rolls Royce website and found out what are the roles available, and you filtered it out and you shortlisted what is your role you are applicable for. Once it is done, go back to the LinkedIn page and see who all are working in the respective company and see if any seniors are there. That is very important. So this is how networking works. For example, a system which screens your profile is not equal to a person who's referring you. For example, if a Nehru Institute student who's working in the same company, if he refers you for their respective profile, then you will get a higher chance for an interview to showcase your knowledge. So that's how networking works. So make use of the LinkedIn profile. It is not like social media. You can read lots and lots of blogs, articles related to aviation. Okay, so make use of that software as well, LinkedIn. Okay, hope I answered your question, Saramna. It will be lengthy, but it would be useful for all the students, and make use of. This is a process. If you want to get into the job after graduation, follow all these steps. You cannot get a job in one go. You have to try, figure it out, find a network, and show that you are capable for the particular role. I'm having certain knowledge. I'm having certification. I can excel in the particular role. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'm clear. Thank you, Saramnan. Uh, what else? Setu Badi. As a fresher, how to get my first job in design field because many of the companies has experience. Okay, yeah, it is true actually. If you have certification, what is the meaning? You are having knowledge and you have hands-on. Underline the word hands-on. If you have hands-on, then only you will be getting a certification. And yes, most of the rejections will happen because of non-zero experience. But what is the procedure? All the top companies have this in mind. All the top companies, including Rolls Royce Bangalore or Airbus Bangalore, all the companies in India, they have graduate trainee program. If you see the website, you can find graduate trainee program. Okay, that program is only for graduates, only for bachelor graduates, and that program will be for 6 months. What they do, they train you in the respective module for 6 months, and that after 6 months they will convert the graduate trainee program as a full time. So if you see, figure it out, all the websites, you have to do lots of research because there are lots of companies who are having this program. For sure, all the top companies they have. If you apply for that, you filter it out, and once you're selected, you have they will be training you for 6 months, and then you will that will be converted to a full time because the 6 months is going to be a training period with payment. Okay, sorry. That is one option. If not, don't ever have an expectation of getting a higher salary after BE education. I'm sorry to say that is very rarely happen. You have to gain at least 2 to 3 years of experience into the industry, and then you can expect for a higher salary. So what are the other options? If the company is rejecting you because of zero experience, then you can approach a company for an intern. So if you perform well in the internship, that can be converted to a full time. For example, if you go for an intern for 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, and if you really showcase your talent over there, obviously the respective manager or the respective head of the department will convert you to the full time. Or apprenticeship, Airbus India or Jet Airways, they all have an apprentice program, so you can go ahead with that. But if you have certification, this can be ignored, showcasing that you are having very good knowledge and you can get into any of the industry, designing, engineering. Okay, so hope I answered your question, Sedupati. Balaji M. For doing masters in propulsion, what would be your suggestion, sir? IITs, IISc through GATE or doing in any other countries, and also explain what is the difference between those. Sure. Okay, so for that I have prepared a slide. Okay, I'm just coming to that. So this, so to answer that question, see, for example, if you're interested to do masters, sir, I'm running out of time. Can you give me 5 to 10 minutes so that I can answer those questions?
By all means,
Okay.
because today is auspicious day.
Okay.
Right. The students are asking questions. RD first, really. Please take your own time.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Okay. So, for example, if you're more interested to do masters in aeronautics, to do it in India or do it in abroad, I will explain very clearly. Listen carefully. Okay. So before that, bachelor's is very important. Bachelor's score is very important. Okay. So by all means, I request you, please study the subject with full understanding. There is no need to memorize or by heart anything. Okay. Because if you want to do masters, if you want to go into any industry, they most of the organization will look for your basic knowledge. So your basics needs to be very, very, very strong. If you are in design, 2D and 3D. If you are in propulsion, you have to be strong in heat transfer, fluid dynamics, propulsion. So it all matters. If you want to be in that domain, your basics needs to be very strong. If you understand your subject, marks will come automatically. Okay. For example, if you want to do either ME or MTech or MS in aerospace engineering, that means if I mention aerospace engineering, you can do your masters in heat transfer, you can do your masters in different subjects are available. For India, I strongly recommend you to prepare for the gate exam. Okay, spend 6 months of time. It's nothing wrong, it's valid time. If you want to concentrate more and want to score and want to enter into the top colleges in India for your masters, GATE is the only tool that you can enter into any colleges in India for a masters. Okay. If you want to go abroad, for example, I studied in Singapore and Germany because I had a gold medal. I had certain journal publication that helps me to put into my foreign university. For example, what are the additional advantage you have? If you have good grade, that means without any history of arrears, above 75 percentage, 85, 80%, 85 percentage, you have a higher chance. Okay. And added to that, if you have any journal publications, very important, one more information for you guys. All the colleges, not only in Coimbatore, in the entire India, they will conduct a symposium every year. Hope you from Nehru also, like there will be a implant training, there will be workshop conducted, there will be lot of organization events conducted. I encourage everyone, get your professor's approval, attend any of the implant training, go for workshop. It will be for one day, right? Go and gain the knowledge. Those certifications would be very valid, so that you can add those in your resume. So those symposiums are conducted, because if a symposium is conducted in a college, they send the invitation across India, because students from across the places, they can come, they can showcase the talent, and it will be heavy competition. So the concept matters. If there is any journal publications, you go and present the paper. Whether it's right or wrong, don't ever worry about that. If you go and present your thought ideas, if they accept, it's fine. If they not accept, you can learn something from the failure. Okay. And see what others present, see what your seniors present. Those would help you to create innovative ideas for your final year project. Your final year project last 6 months will decide who you are. What you gain for 3.5 years will decide in the last 6 months. So those project phase are very, very important. So please study the subject with understanding, read lots of journals. So if you Google lots of journal, you can understand what the respective topic is, what are the latest advancement available, what are the latest technology used, what is the latest software used. So all those can be identified. Why I'm saying is, if you have those certifications, that will also help you to get an admission in abroad, because you have to create an impression saying that I have spent so and so much in paper presentation and workshop, I have attended so and so and gained my knowledge. So those impression matters. And of course, for Singapore, IELTS or TOEFL or GRE is not required, but for US, you have to go ahead with GRE. So it's not very complicated. If you're mastering yourself in B aeronautical engineering, GRE is, if you prepare for 2 months, is well and good. IELTS just IELTS or TOEFL, it's just a what it's like English. If you have very good English knowledge, it's well and good. So that is the difference. So again, to which university I have to apply. For example, in Tamil Nadu, we have 600 plus colleges. So if you say top 10, we will say we know what are the top 10 colleges or top 20 colleges who are good in aeronautical engineering. Similarly, in abroad, there will be 100 plus of colleges. It's not advisable to do a master's and to launch your application in all the universities. You have to go and do a research. Is a research applicable? Who is the professors? What is the job opportunities available? What is the status of R&D department over there? So you have to do lots of research and then figure it out and finalize the university. Okay. And again, financial issues matters. Certain, for example, if you're very good enough with financial status, I strongly suggest you to do your masters in abroad. And again, if you are very good in a subject, you can get a job once you graduate, and you get lots of part-time jobs over there in a research industry. But don't go for entertainment, don't waste the money in vain. Okay, if you're very good in knowledge and if you're very much interested and I want to excel and gain international knowledge, the abroad university, then go ahead. Okay, so that's all I have prepared. There are a few more queries. I will clear that as well. Okay, Balaji, hope I answered your question. Satish Kumar, thank you, sir. And I Puna for our students with useful information, jobs and stuff. Thank you. Any other question, guys? Thank you, Balaji. Guys, feel free to ask even a silly question. Don't bother about that. It's all, we all in the same domain, right? I'm happy to clear all your questions. Okay. So what I strongly suggest, study the subject with full understanding. Then mark will come automatically. Excel in any of the software, and you can get job easily. Okay. So don't fall in the trap saying that there is no job market available in aerospace, there's no jobs available. Don't worry about that. If you're having software skills or any other skills, you can enter not only aerospace industry, in any industry. Please think yourself, if you know about CATIA, you can design aeroplane as well as a car, as well as a soap box or a cell phone or a single mouse, a hairpin. Everything it comes by a design. So don't fall into the trap saying that I won't get job after BA aeronautical engineering. That's not the issue. If you're strong in analysis software, you can do analysis. Every company is doing analysis. Okay, if you get a chance in aeronautical industry, it's well and good. If not, you will get job in a car industry or oil and gas industry or any other industries. Later, after gaining 2 years of experience, you can easily jump into aeronautical companies. Okay, what is your opinion in doing masters in abroad? Which country you will suggest? See, I travel to 10 plus of countries. Okay, so I know about certain universities. It all depends on you, Saran, and how much you can spend financially, and whether you are interested to take GRE or TOEFL, and what is your research after masters. If you want to go to PhD, then you have to decide in that aspect. You can connect to me personally. I can guide you in that, because I have visited Stanford in US and other universities, so I can guide you personally. Any other questions? Come on, we are running out of time. Post your questions.
Okay, shall we conclude the meeting? Students, shall we?
Sir, Selvakumar sir, your voice is
Yes,
breaking.
your voice is breaking. Yes. Why is breaking? Yes.
Sir, shall we conclude the now?
Yes. I hope that this time chat box, a lot of questions. I appreciate, particularly the Balaji, Saravanan, Shanmugam, beautiful question they asked. Thank you, Janani. Others are all new spectators. Right. Yes, you can. You can wind up, sir. Back to Professor SS.
Thanks to all. That is on behalf of Aero, privileged to thank Managing Trustee, Secretary, in their absence of then I would like to give gratitude to the principal Dr. P. Munirasan in answer. Now, I just want to give a thank. I would like to thank the distinguished speaker, Robin Vivek, for making an and making this webinar meaningful and interesting. It is also very useful as professional man.
Professor SS, voice breaking. Please change your position.
Bobby and Vivek, for your
Yes.
excellent presentation. It is actually, I had not expected you. Seen you personally, I know you, but seeing you today only. Thank you very much, Bobby. Then I thank our director, Dr. A. Allowed HOD Aero, HOD Aero, for all my colleagues, constant encouragement and support. Not but the late, thank all the who have participated, and really I'm happy about this. And this is back to our hero. We'll continue this one, conclude this one.
Really. Thank you, Mr. Babin Vivek. Wonderful session.
Thank you.
Clarity is their pata. None of the stone is left unturned. Whatever you have studied, whatever your experience, you have put it in terms of software. Even you didn't leave the programming, Python programming in avionics. Hats off. Hats off to you. You are a fourth batch of ISET of your ISET. I'm right. You are ISET.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
batch?
yeah.
Fourth or fifth batch?
Fourth batch, sir.
Then you are a student of Gopinath or Ganeshan?
Both.
Both. Yes, right. They are my students, and everybody loves Gopi because he's good in flight dynamics. Ganesh in structure. Am I right?
Correct, sir.
Probably. Anyway, very good, and I really appreciate you. So far, I have been hearing good amount of webinars of my old students. They are much more senior to you. No one has shown this sort of indication. Right. Like, litmus paper, pH value, how to check up. You said very rightly. He gave really. It's a springboard. All students really, and particularly my friend Saravana Shanmugam. I have not seen the face, to be honest, my friend Babin Vivek. I didn't see their face. I don't remember because Corona, they put masking. I know masking of, mobbing wings, but never had seen the masking wing. Very wonderful session. Hats off. I hope you are a better teacher, particularly to motivate the student to learn the software. And this is a special thanks to Professor SS. Although Professor SS left ISET, if I'm not wrong, way back in 2006 or 7, but still you are in the good books of Professor SS. Hats off. Thanks a lot. God bless you wherever you are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Babin Vivek, and hope some other occasion we have to again join. Maybe in the physical presence, I would request you to come to our campus and meet students in person so that we can motivate them. And thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I am very thankful to our Dr. SS sir for a wonderful session. I think Babin Vivek, like a senior student, as he said, and only the students who are not joined, they are, I feel, they are the losers. And let's see that in future we'll have a session separately for all our students by inviting the guests. Sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Sir.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. Thank you, Bipin Vivek.
Thank you. Sir.
Thank
Bye,
you.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Over to BR.
Yes, sir. Sir, we will close, sir. Fine, sir. We'll wind up, sir.
Yeah, wind up. We'll ask the what is that students to wind up. Am I right, Professor BR?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll ask the students to wind up. All